Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are completely dismantling the traditional barriers to entry in the business world. If you've ever felt like entrepreneurship is this exclusive VIP club and you just can't afford the cover charge, well, it's time to shift that perspective. We're going to look at some curated, totally data-backed ideas that prove massive capital is absolutely no longer a prerequisite for massive returns. So, do you actually need millions to start? Honestly, it's just a cinematic myth. TV shows and headlines, they love to highlight these startups raising tens of millions in venture capital before they even have a working product. And, it creates this illusion that unless you have a rich uncle or a massive bank loan, you're just locked out. But the reality on the ground? It tells a very, very different story. We really have to let go of that old school storefront mentality. Today, the ultimate business leverage costs about the same as, well, the smartphone right there in your pocket. That little glass rectangle is your global distribution center, it's your marketing agency, and your storefront all rolled into one. The gatekeepers haven't just moved, guys. They are gone entirely. Okay, let's dive into Pathway 1, inventory-free selling. Let's take print on demand, for example. With this model, you act as the creative director and the marketer, but the products only exist after a customer actually pays for them. A fraction of their payment goes to the printer, who then ships it directly to the buyer. Your financial risk when it comes to inventory? It's literally zero. It is the ultimate asymmetrical bet. Now, if designing isn't really your angle, you should definitely consider digital arbitrage, or, just simple reselling. You're basically identifying the gap between wholesale costs and online retail demand. By leveraging digital platforms to bridge that gap, you completely bypass the need for expensive commercial real estate. Moving right along to Pathway 2, skill monetization. Think about things like graphic design, video editing, social media management, and the rapidly growing field of AI tools. If you have any of these skills, you're sitting on an absolute goldmine. Why? Because every single business on Earth desperately needs to digitize and optimize right now, and they already have the budget to pay you to do it for them. Or you could just deploy those skills for yourself. Start a YouTube channel or a social media page. Content creation isn't just about trying to go viral, it's really about building digital real estate. It requires some sweat equity and a lot of patience, for sure, but over time, you are constructing a highly valuable asset that literally works for you 24/7. And once you capture that attention, you can monetize it from so many different angles. Ad revenue gives you a cut of the platform's profits. Sponsorships allow brands to pay you directly for access to your niche, and affiliate marketing earns you commissions on the sales you drive. You're basically building a diversified one-person media company from scratch. Which brings us to Pathway 3, the homemade food hustle. Stepping away from the purely digital for a second, everyday cooking can easily become a high-margin micro-business right from your own kitchen. Think about it. You already own the equipment. The startup capital is quite literally just the cost of your very first batch of ingredients. And you don't need foot traffic when you have the internet on your side. Facebook, Instagram, and local food delivery apps are your virtual storefronts here. You're tapping into massive, already existing networks of hungry local customers without paying a single dime in commercial rent. How great is that? All of this leads us to our final point, the cost of waiting. There's a great saying, the biggest mistake people make is waiting for the perfect time. And it's true, the perfect time is a total myth. You are never going to feel 100% ready. The truth is, hesitation is the real barrier to entry today, not capital. Please don't spend years planning some massive venture you can't afford while ignoring the incredibly viable low-cost options sitting right in front of you. The roadmap is actually remarkably straightforward. Select the path that fits your unfair advantages. Pick one idea, just one, so you don't dilute your focus. Stay incredibly consistent with it, and just let your minimal capital and daily effort compound over time. Consistency is exactly what turns a small side hustle into an empire. You have the digital tools, you understand these low-risk models, and the traditional gatekeepers, they're gone. The capital requirement is effectively zero. So taking a look at all these options, the real question isn't just which business you would start. The real question is, now that you know money isn't the issue, what is your excuse for not starting today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.